little bit of a sunrise. Not a lot, but a little bit. Smoke in the air from everybody keeping their fires going. And fog. Fog actually pretty much lifted now. And I know I got some unhappy, well, there'll be some unhappy cows. I haven't locked them out of the feed barn yet. So they probably went back in there. It looks like it from here. But hey, I had to show you what number 2 and number 3 and Nick got done yesterday. Keep in mind, a lot of this was pretty mucky, even though it's been done a little bit. So it gets even worse when you get over here just because it was so deep with muck. This actually looked really good over here last night. But it's a good enough start. They're just going to push it down again, and then maybe it'll get it bridged enough I can actually drive the skid steer in to set bales in like I did last year. So, yeah. And you can't tell where they run around that corner to get over here for grain either, can you? And this is really the most important part of this part of the barn. The maternity pen, try to keep it as clean as we can. It's still going to be what it's going to be. So, I'll get you some more here in a while. Well, sometimes shit happens. This is the second time this thing's ended up with dead batteries. It turns it over, but nowhere near enough to start it. I think the key switch is off a little bit, and it didn't get to the actual off position last time. So I'll let them sit here on 10 amps for a little while. There's 3 batteries in there, and I'll kick her up to 40 amps for a little bit. This thing only goes to 200 amps, but close enough. So then I'll hit 200 amps and see if she'll fire. In the meantime, I guess I'll go do something else. But look, there's a big empty space right here. Thought about getting a cold start on that big Massey, but yeah, she cranked long enough. It would have been a long video. She fired about normal though, for as long as it's set and as wet as it is. 40 degrees and like this, and they set for a month. They don't like to start. They start easier at 20 degrees and dry. And they're still in the feed barn because I'm going to let them eat as much hay out of those feeders as they'll eat before I push it out. They're pretty much empty. Really not a lot left in the bottom of them. They're just kind of picking through and standing in there just to be inside. So, but I thought I wanted to get a few other things done first. Like get some fuel in the shop tank, being it ran out overnight. Oh, those red Purina tubs. I don't know how many different ones they put in a red tub. One of the local co-ops. You know, you never know if you're going to get the same one twice. We got 2 of those that were supposed to have the fly control in it this summer, and put one with each group, but they also had the regular rangeland tubs that we use. And the red tubs lasted a long time and looked very similar to the rangeland. These, that was about the color of that chunk of hay laying on the ground, and they chewed right through them. We've been through 8 tubs in like a week. Shouldn't be. So that's something I gotta make sure Mom knows that they ain't worth a shit. Those 4 are the ones that Ron picked up for us. See, Mom and number 1 picked them up, and he only had 4, and we were supposed to get 8. And it was like the next day, Ron picked those up. And realistically, by the time those were here, I mean, it was 2 or 3 days later, I guess. But by the time Ron got here with the next 4, the ones that were in here were empty. And I went 4 or 5 days before I put them in, and I mean, one of those things isn't making it a day. They're supposed to be 200 pounds. That's too much. New rangeland, dry cow seem to last a lot longer and I think do better. But Mom's thing was, oh look, they're on sale. Yeah, they're on sale for about 20 bucks less than what we normally pay for a 250 pound rangeland. And they don't last as long and don't do as good. We did the math on that a few years ago, but she doesn't remember that, I guess. Dad was still around for that. We tried them, and they just, back then when we got them, we were getting 2 or 3 weeks out of 3 rangeland, and we got like 2 days out of 4 of those, so we only did it the one time. Anyway, onward and upward. I love the way they put things together. I mean, I like the way they did this. We've got 2 tracks. Both of them drop down right at the front because the rubber seals on the bottom of the door, seals on that threshold. Here's the roller that was off. I didn't know it was still in here. I thought it was gone. It was buried way up here, where with the cover on the outside of this, you didn't see it. I didn't know it was there. Looking at it, they slip in. And I'm assuming that plastic was at one time vulcanized on, whatever. There's still a little left on this one. But that's how they go. So I guess it just depends on the weight of the door to keep them on. So I was trying to get this one out of here to put it on the door, and then I'm thinking, how in the hell do you slip the door back on? Because the tracks are offset. And the only way to get in there, there's screws. Of course, they're Phillips head. This one came out because I was just going to take this track down to get this out. The next one, where is it? Yeah. Next one's right here. Guess what? It ain't coming out. Wonderful thing about leaving a void, because there's a void in there. Well, that condenses, and then you got permanent screws. The only way I know to get it out of there would be to grind the head off, which is kind of a bitch to get in there. And, doesn't do any good anyway. So, I'll put that one back in, and then see if I can figure out how to slide it back on to that. I mean, the back one's no big deal, because when you take the 2 rollers off of there, you can swing the door out a little bit so that the latch clears, and you slide it right off the back. That's easy. The front one's kind of a deal. I wish there was something on there that would keep it on. Maybe the plastic at one point was supposed to let it snap on. I don't know. But, yeah. I guess that could be a screw up taking it off. Either way, I know that track ain't coming off, so I ain't gonna worry about that. I'll put that part back together. Probably still leave the door off for now, just because it doesn't need to go down and get pressure washed. I mean, you can get wiped down and painted. That's not a big deal. The rest of this, once I get a couple more things out, will get pressure washed. Then scrub down and probably use some undercoating on that. Throw some paint on it first, then some undercoating. And find a new mat. Fill some holes, because I don't know what I'm going to do for running stuff through yet. I mean, obviously I need some holes to at least run cables through and whatever, and I got to figure out how to put treadle valve's easy. Floor mount that and it hangs down. But the clutch, since we got a hydraulic clutch, unless I change it to mechanical, which can be done, it's just a little more pain in the ass. We did it on the old fertilizer buggy years ago because we couldn't keep the damn hydraulics working. We'd blow the slave out about once a year. but trying to figure out where you can't change this arm angle any. It's kind of hard to run a length through the middle of that starter, and I really don't want to run something clear down underneath. So we'll see what happens. Now that I got enough video for 2 days, right? Light's in the wrong place, it's right there. I just thought we'd walk across the back of the heifers. A couple littler ones in here, but that's the replacement. Most of them are really good. Some of them a little small. Barn still looks pretty good over here. Told the kids not to put too much over there because that needs to get cleaned. It's getting too deep. Excuse me. That snuck out. I wasn't expecting that. Oh, caught Whiskey over here taking a leak. Yeah, all the male dogs around here squat. Yeah, don't ask. They just never had anybody to teach them how to do it right. Oh, I figured I better make an ending for the video. Bale spear is now on that. That's not the one off the John Deere. That's actually the one for the Massey, but there's an adapter for it. Feed barn's clean. 2 weeks later than it was supposed to be, but it's clean now. And yeah, there's a menagerie of sizes in this one. Actually, a bigger age spread in the steers than there is in the heifers. And any of the younger heifers that were small, they already got shipped. They got shipped when we weaned. I can walk along here and they will follow me. I don't even have buckets in my hand now. Such a tease. Such a tease. And that one, in the end hole, every now and then he'll decide he wants to climb in and reach up here. He thinks I'm going to let him come up here and get a bucket. He's kind of a character. He looks like him, but just because they got the same eye patch. Oh well. It was another day. Like I said, I just had to make an ending. Get these guys fed. Let those ladies out there in for their dinner. And call it a day. Thanks for watching, everybody. Appreciate it. And who says cow food's just for cows? That's why we don't have rumensin in our grain. Because it'll kill dogs and these idiots eat it. So, anyway, please like and subscribe if you haven't. It helps out. Makes it a little easier. I don't know if I've actually ever seen any money from it or not, but, you know. Either way, still helps me out a little.